record. Super Bowl. Super Bowl channel. Alright. Just gonna fire up the channel and fire up the camera for a second and just test this setting out. Setting up my mic, trying to get my room set up so I can get back to the YouTube stuff and kind of cover all the radio things that I've been talking through or been touching on at least. Lots of things that, if you've seen in my shorts, I've been all over the place. We've put up a local repeater in our area. Done quite a few things. So if you've watched my previous videos, you've seen, a kind of touch point of like why I'm in the radio, and I'll probably just elaborate on that more and more. But
Good morning.
there's
The time is
good morning.
10 a.m.
So thank you, TikTok timekeeper. But yeah. So anyway, so I'm trying to get a good setup here to where I can actually just turn the camera on and start doing some of these reviews and talking through a few things. I've got quite a bit going on here on my desk and in my room, and just want to share some things that I've learned that are hard to find, I would say. Not as I've kind of delved into this whole thing, I have found that information is hard to find. And when it comes to, I'll beat down ham radio just a little bit, only a little bit though. But I noticed in ham radio, like when I began to kind of dig into this thing and see like what is out there, is it worth me taking the test? Is it worth me going through the trouble and having to deal with all the things? And what are the things? The things are the fact that there's a lot of gatekeeping, and in gatekeeping I mean like no one wants to tell you things. But I have found a few ham operators that are great. First off, I'll say that, and you know who you are. You've helped me do a lot of things. You've worked on my equipment. You've literally like held my hand through some things and helped me learn, and that's been amazing. And I'm not talking to those guys. I'm talking to the others. Because out of the social media thousands of things that I have literally like touched on, and my journey to figure out the answer to a problem that was not easily solvable, still not easily solvable. I don't think it's actually solvable in a sense, to the level that I wanted to. And let me just tell you what that is. So I talked about like Katrina and some of our experiences in the past, and how it kind of like triggered me to dive into radio a bit and kind of dig deeper. Like what's the usefulness of this? What's the real world usefulness of it? And I found myself like in the beginning landing in like GMRS lane. And I hear all the time like, oh, GMRS is just a gateway into ham. And I'm not disputing that technically. What I am disputing is the downplaying of it, and how like, oh, if you don't have a ham license, you can't do any of this stuff. So I've talked about it before, where I have found that they call them ham operators, call me and others, they call them freebanders. Basically, it's like what else can you use other than ham radio frequency bands? So I've been touching that, and honestly my mindset has been this, is like, why step off into ham yet if there's still so much to learn? Why do I want to jump into the ocean when I've got a really large lake that is out in front of me, that is rarely touched, rarely talked about? There are circles that touch the things, but not quite in a way that I am trying to. So I'm talking in a circle here, right? I'm talking super vague, super high level, but let me just tell you, and I don't think it's a silly thing, but when I moved to Texas, I had a rule, or not a rule, sorry. I had a mindset. It's like, if something were to happen with my kids back in 500 miles away. I'll just say that. My kids are 500 miles away from me. What would I do? What would be that emergency plan? Because I established one when they were in my home. I established one when they were close by. But that close by was within 60 miles. Now I'm 500 miles. So, like, what could I look at? What options could I look into that, A, they would be able to co-communicate, right? Interoperate on their side. That was the key one. Like, that's the one. My daughters are not going to get a ham radio operator's license. They're not going to get into ham HF radio. They're not going to do any of those things. As much as I coerce them, even if I talk them into getting the license, they will not have any more want or need to go past that. So now, ham is not my answer. It is, what are the easiest options that at least get me halfway there? How could I put a communication plan together that may work, rather than not having a plan that won't work, right? So no plan is always failure, and that failure is not an option. So we need something. So I've been looking at just the different options. I mean, from obviously your short range, like FRS radios aren't the answer. GMRS isn't the long range answer. The only realistic thing to look at is technically three things. There's a few more in there, but technically easily usable and affordable are 11 meter sideband, more of that freeband HF, satellite radio, sat phones, sat radios, sat phones, and the other one is like the POC radios, which the POC radios are like really low on my priority list. However, I do have some so far impressed with the one that I chose. Not all of them. I looked all about and couldn't find any. But so that's kind of where I'm going. So if you're curious of my wants and my needs and the things that I am touching on, those are the needs. Like what is that basically that freebander version of long range communication? Not that it's 100%, because honestly, ham's not 100%. There's a couple YouTube channels out there that were working together, and the one guy, great channel, great information, highly technical, great ham operator. He had a no random contacts project, and I watched him and another channel do a link, and the conditions were bad, but I mean the conditions are never going to be perfect, and it was a fail. They had if I remember right, they had actual like radio failure, had some technical failures, and then there was some just atmospheric failure. So it didn't work. But could it work? Yeah, absolutely. Like what they did, there was no reason why it couldn't. You couldn't put together a comms plan on certain bands and have options. So now, this whole rant, what is it about? Really, this is just a baseline of why I look at some of the things that I do. There's some outliers there of just, cool tech that have been released. So I got some radios and some tech that I want to talk about. I've got some interoperability options that I've put between the what's that? Yeah. The joys of running a repeater. I've got some interoperability options between the functionality of these different radios, and I'm just going to talk through like the different options, the different ranges, from 11 meter CB sideband, GMRS, obviously, some FRS options are going to be in there somewhere, some tech between some of those at least, right? Not the 11 meter, but the others. There's some tech in there, and then the POC link, the POC network radios. I've got some that have some cool features that I want to talk through and show you guys. So this was really just a baseline of why am I into radio. Obviously you heard my Katrina story. If not, go back and check that out and you'll understand like the mindset at least of where I am. And we'll go from there. So everything from Midland to the Vero VR like 7600, the 7500, the BTEC GMRS 50 Pros, TYT 9800 Pro, I think it is. I got a Quad 6. I've got a Yaesu 758D 7. I'm doubting myself there. It's an all-band radio. It's HF, UHF, VHF. I'm in the midst of getting some work done to it. I picked it up used, so got a good deal on it. Got a Zygu G90. Got a handful of things. I got an old Bearcat 980 sideband. Great radio, legal limit radio. I have talked to Jamaica under amazing conditions, but on sideband. So there's some options there, and then we'll talk about like what when I touch on the 11 meter stuff, I'll touch on what I have learned. At least I don't know all the science behind it. I just am trying to learn so I know how to use it. And my point of that is like the baseline is here's why I'm into radio. So what I don't want is to mislead anyone to think that I am an expert in everything. I am learning for a specific purpose, and I'm going to reach that goal eventually, or I'm going to reach it good enough, and I will basically probably lay most of this down and hold on to the main tools and then fine tune those as I go. So just throwing it out there. I beat up on hams quite a bit, but I don't want anyone to think that it's a bad thing. It's a great thing to get your technician license and just delve off into it. But what happens is, like I said, it's an ocean. People that I have seen, they get really excited. They jump into like GMRS. They learn a few things. They take like, man, I'm just going to get my tech license so I can touch more things. Next thing you know, you've got a plethora. You got an ocean of tools in front of you, an ocean of options and bands, and some of them even go to like the general technician or general license, or the extra even, and have no idea what to do with it. They get bored with it because there's so many things to play with. They don't know what to play with first. The interest is there, but the usefulness is not. To me, I want to learn the usefulness of it and grow into that limit. Hey, if I get to the extra license, great. I'll only do that if I need it. If I don't need it, I won't get it. So, and I'll share that journey along the way. I'm really just trying to get to a point to where I feel like my goal is at least partially met, enough for me to be comfortable with, and go from there. So this isn't like a series, I wouldn't say. I'm gonna kind of break it up into segments just so people can digest it and watch it, and I'll put it into playlist. But just overall radio, this is what I'm into. Yes, I still want to go fishing and things, but life has just kind of hindered a lot of that in the past, in the recent few years past. So I'll get back to it soon. And if anybody's here to watch fishing videos, sorry, right now I don't have time. Been working on my Jeep, so some of that radio journey is a mobile solution being in your vehicle or portable. There's the handhelds. I don't even know if you can see that, but there's a couple of handhelds sitting behind me, and well, trying to get, there it goes. Somewhere in that is also some Meshtastic. This is MeshSense, something I'll talk through, and some journeys that we've had going on there for our local community. We put up a local repeater, got it up on a tower, talked about a little bit of that. So yeah, quite a bit going on, and I'm just trying to package that all up and put it into something usable. So bear with me, stay with me, and hope to learn together. And comment down below if you have any interest in any of these topics in a specific fashion. So if anybody wants to know more about a certain thing, or they have a similar use case, shorter distances, longer distances, some other thing that hinders that whole communication process. So yeah, jump with me, and it's gonna be it for today. I just wanted to kind of just baseline, like, what am I doing radio, where am I going, and that still just touches like really surface level of it. Over the past few years, I have just neck deep, actually drowning in it, to a point without even going into the ham area. There was already so many tools at my disposal that I didn't know where to start first. So just want to package that up and share that out, and help you, and hopefully help everyone around you, because my core is like emergency communication, emergency preparedness, or and when I say emergency, I'm not necessarily talking about the apocalypse, but I've said before, hey, if you're well prepared for those normal things in life, then yeah. Now, hopefully I didn't lose my audio when that keyed off a while ago, but if you're well prepared, you're prepared for anything. So, are you ready?